Alaska. The name alone evokes images of wildness, grandeur and harsh challenges. Here, amidst the vastness of the cold ocean and the wind-splitting snowstorms, millions of crabs thrive, becoming a source of life, hope and even silent tragedy for countless fishermen. Among them, the art of using pot traps to catch crabs has become a legend. A story that is both fascinating and touching. Attracting the attention of anyone from 25 to 65 years old, those who have experienced life, understand the value of labor and human resilience in the face of nature. Imagine a cold winter day, when the white-capped waves fiercely crash against the side of the boat, and the wind is as cold as cutting skin. On the deck, men with sunburned faces, calloused hands from work, are busily preparing for a trip to sea. They are Alaskan fishermen, true warriors of the sea, who have devoted their lives to crabbing. And their main weapon in the battle with the ocean is the pot trap, heavy steel cages. Seemingly simple but containing a sophisticated art, a humane philosophy of life. The pot trap is not just a fishing tool. It is a symbol of patience, of experience accumulated over many generations, and of extraordinary courage. Each trap, with a sturdy steel frame, sophisticated mesh and ingenious one-way door system, is designed to lure and retain fat crabs, from giant king crab to sweet snow crab, but to place hundreds, even thousands of these traps on the bottom of the deep sea, where the temperature can drop below 0 degrees Celsius, requires meticulous calculation, skillful skills and a strong spirit. The journey begins with weather forecasts, tense meetings on the docks, where captains analyze data, share experiences and make life or death decisions. They know that a sudden storm can swallow the ship and its crew. They also know that a small mistake in locating crab beds can leave them empty-handed after days at sea. Each trip is a gamble, but a carefully calculated gamble, based on extensive knowledge of oceanography, crab behavior and an understanding of waves and undercurrents. When the ship leaves the dock, the air on board becomes silent, except for the sound of the engine and the waves. Each fisherman focuses on his work. Some check the anchor rope. Others prepare the bait, usually fresh herring or mackerel, chopped and placed in mesh bags inside the traps. The scent of the bait will spread through the water, attracting the crabs hiding on the seabed. Then, with extraordinary skill, they lower each trap into the sea. It is not just muscle work, but also a synchronized dance between man and machine, between caution and speed, to ensure that each trap is placed in the right place, at the ideal depth, and not drifted away by the strong ocean currents. Time passes, and waiting is an integral part of the job. Fishermen often leave their traps on the seabed for several hours, or even days, depending on weather conditions and their experience. During that time, they face anxiety, loneliness, and lurking dangers. It could be another ship accidentally cutting the anchor line, a sudden storm, or simply the crabs not entering the trap for some reason. Patience. Faith in their own experience, and a little luck are the factors that determine their success. When it is time to collect the traps, it is a dramatic moment. Each heavy trap, covered in algae and sea creatures, is slowly pulled up by a hydraulic winch. And then, when the trap emerges from the water, it is a moment of excitement mixed with hope. Are there plump crabs inside? Or are the traps empty? If we are lucky, the traps will be filled with bright red king crabs or pure white snow crabs, crowded together in the cages, their powerful claws waving in the air. That is when the fishermen's sunburned faces smile brightly, the moment they feel the fruits of their hard work and the risks they have taken. However, the work is not over yet. The crabs must be carefully sorted, only those of sufficient size and without eggs are kept. Smaller crabs or female crabs with eggs are returned to the sea to maintain the resource. After sorting, the crabs are kept alive in special tanks on board the ship, where temperatures and conditions are strictly controlled to ensure the best quality when they reach shore. The journey back to port is long and tiring, but also full of pride. They know they have accomplished a difficult task, has overcome the challenges of the sea, and has brought back a precious food source for millions of people around the world. The story of how American fishermen used pot traps to catch millions of crabs in the waters of Alaska is not just a story about economics or production. It is an epic story about human resilience, about love for the sea and respect for nature. It shows us that, even in the harshest environments, people can still find a way to survive and develop, not by conquering, but by immersing themselves in nature, learning from it and living in harmony with it. For young people between the ages of 25 and 40, this story is an inspiration. It shows that success does not come easily, but requires constant effort, perseverance and the ability to adapt to unexpected changes. It also encourages them to explore new paths, unique and challenging professions where they can maximize their abilities and create real value. Moreover, it emphasizes the importance of protecting the environment, an issue that is becoming increasingly urgent in the modern world. For people aged 40 to 65, who have a lot of life experience, this story can touch deeper emotions. They can see themselves in the Alaskan fishermen, who have overcome many difficulties and challenges to achieve their goals. They can recognize the value of honest work, perseverance and teamwork. This story is also a reminder of the beauty and harshness of nature, of the need to be grateful and protect what we have. But behind the flashy images of crab-filled boats, still dark corners and constant challenges. Crab fishing in Alaska is one of the most dangerous occupations in the world. The risk of work accidents, harsh weather, and unpredictable risks are always lurking. Many fishermen have paid with their lives or health for risky sea trips. Each crab caught not only carries the flavor of the ocean, but also the sweat, tears, and blood of brave people. However, the passion for the sea, for the profession, and for the plump crabs still motivates them to continue. They are not only people who make a living, they are people who preserve a tradition, a culture, a lifestyle that has been formed over many centuries. They are people who understand the value of freedom, of independence. And of living in the midst of majestic nature, in the context of an increasingly modernized world, when many traditional occupations are gradually disappearing. The story of Alaskan fishermen and their art of pot trapping becomes even more meaningful. It reminds us of the core values of humanity: resilience, courage, respect for nature, and extraordinary adaptability. It shows us that even in the age of technology, there are still people who choose to engage in jobs that require physical and mental resilience. And they find pride and joy in doing so. Think about the next time you enjoy a plate of fresh Alaskan king crab. Think about the fishermen, the boats drifting on the cold seas, and the pot traps, simple tools that contain a big story about life. About labor, and about human resilience in the face of nature. It is not just a dish. It is an experience, a connection to another world, a reminder of the beauty and harshness of our planet. And perhaps, what remains most after this story is not just the millions of crabs caught, or the sophisticated techniques of the pot trap. It is the spirit of the Alaskan fisherman, small people in front of the vast ocean, but possessing a strong will, a brave heart and a deep love for the sea. They are the ones who keep the fire burning for a traditional profession, a source of life, and an attractive, captivating story that touches people's hearts, overcoming all barriers of age and generation. The story of Alaskan fishermen and pot traps does not stop at resilience and courage. It is also a profound story of indigenous knowledge, understanding of the environment and constantly changing technology. To truly feel the appeal of this profession, we need to delve deeper into the little-known details, the secrets that make up their success. One of the most important factors that make up the success of Alaskan fishermen is the ability to read the sea. This is more than just looking at the weather forecast or tide charts. It is the ability to sense undercurrents, the slightest changes in water temperature, and even the smell of the sea to locate crab beds. King crabs and snow crabs have complex migration patterns, often hiding at different depths depending on the season and environmental conditions. Experienced fishermen can predict the crab's movements based on decades of experience, passed down from generation to generation. They understand that crabs tend to gather in areas with muddy or sandy seabeds, where they can burrow and forage. They also know that larger crabs tend to live in deeper, colder waters, while juvenile crabs can be found in shallower waters. Mastering this knowledge helps them optimize the location of their traps, ensuring maximum efficiency. Pot trap design, sophistication in every detail. Although pot traps may appear simple, every detail is carefully calculated to ensure optimal catchability and sustainability. Materials: traps are typically made from high-strength steel, which can withstand deep water pressure. Strong currents and seawater corrosion. The weight of the trap is also calculated to ensure it does not drift but is not too heavy to pull up. Structure: each pot trap has one or more funnel-shaped entrances, allowing crabs to enter easily but making it difficult to escape. The mesh inside the trap is designed so that only crabs of sufficient size can be retained. Smaller or juvenile crabs can escape through the mesh, ensuring that the resource is not depleted. This is an important element in marine resource conservation strategies. Bait system: bait is placed in a small mesh bag inside the trap, usually fresh herring, mackerel or sardines. The scent of the bait will spread through the water, attracting crabs from a distance. Changing the type of bait or how to place the bait is also an art. Depending on the target crab species and the experience of each fisherman. Buoyant signal: each trap is attached to a long, durable rope connected to a buoy floating on the water surface. The buoy not only marks the location of the trap but also has unique colors and symbols so that fishermen can easily recognize their traps among hundreds, thousands of other traps at sea. Today, technology plays an increasingly important role in crab fishing. Modern fishing vessels are equipped with precise GPS positioning systems, seabed scan sonar, and even devices to measure water temperature and currents. These technologies help fishermen locate traps, monitor weather conditions, and optimize travel routes. However, despite the support of technology, crab fishing is still one of the most dangerous occupations. Unexpected storms, freezing temperatures, and the risk of falling overboard are always present. Therefore, strict safety rules and a high level of teamwork are paramount. Each crew member is thoroughly trained in the use of life-saving equipment, handling emergencies, and supporting each other in all situations. They understand that each person's survival depends on the cooperation of the whole team. Crabbing is not only a source of livelihood for thousands of fishing families. but also an important part of the Alaskan economy and the global seafood industry. Millions of crabs are caught each year, processed, and exported around the world, bringing in huge revenues. However, the development of this industry also comes with challenges in resource management and protection of the marine environment. The US government and conservation organizations have set strict regulations on fishing seasons. Size of crabs allowed to be kept, and the number of traps used to ensure that crab resources are not depleted. It is a delicate balance between economic gain and environmental responsibility. An important lesson in sustainability that we can learn from. The story of Alaskan crabbers and their pot traps is a living testament to human resilience and the ability to adapt to the harshest environments. It is not just a livelihood, but also a cultural heritage. A way of life passed down from generation to generation. In the face of climate change and increasing environmental challenges, the future of crabbing in Alaska remains uncertain. However, with a combination of traditional knowledge, modern technology and a commitment to environmental protection, these fishermen continue to maintain their passion and hope for a bountiful harvest. They are the silent heroes of the sea, who have been writing a fascinating, captivating, and heart-touching story about the never-ending battle between humans and nature, where resilience and courage are always rewarded.